happened. I mean, I knew what happened. And my friend told me she heard me crying and stuff. I mean, I don't remember screaming. I don't remember crying. She said she heard all that. And so I'm in the shower right when I woke up, and he gets in the shower with me. And I froze, and he did it to me again. I didn't, and here's all this stuff my dad, going around in my head. I'm like, I felt like I deserved this. This is what I deserved from my best friend's boyfriend. Like, what happened? All this guilt. And I'm just letting him do this to me, thinking it's all my fault, So, yeah, that happened. And so that just escalated. And then I ended up dropping out at 11th grade. I was in a relationship with my husband when I was 17. We dated once before. This time we got married. And we dated for a year and we broke up. It broke my heart. To the point where I started doing so many drugs. I cannot even tell you how many drugs I did. And all that led up to the point where I had dated someone else. I got arrested. I went to prison. And that's where my rehabilitation started. I'm sorry, this is everywhere. I'm trying to stay together for this video. But there's just so much. And I'm not even telling everything that's happened to me. And so I remember I got out when I was 21, and I got in contact with my husband. He was the only one that was not a family member that had wrote me while I was in prison. Every month he wrote me. So we finally got back together. We got married. I ended up pregnant with my first son. Now, granted, when I got in prison, I saw my dad. I tried to talk to him. It was just really hard because once I started dealing with those things, I don't know, because when I turned 18, I didn't tell you this. When I turned 18, I had told my mom what my dad did to me, and she was so upset. We went and talked to a counselor, and they went to call the cops. But the cops said I would have to press charges and would have to go through a trial and all these things that it would be really hard to prove. Of course, people take my side of it, but I have to go through all that. And I didn't even know if anything would come of it. So, you know how scared you are, and you don't even think anyone's going to believe you anyways. It's one thing for your mom to believe you. It's another thing for a jury to believe you. And I was already doing drugs. I wasn't, this pristine little girl, so I had all that running through my head. So I had my son, and I didn't call my dad when I had my son. I didn't let him know I was in labor because it had gotten to where I didn't want to talk to him. And so he finds out, and the day I bring my son home from the hospital, he ended up calling me. My mom was sitting there, and I just ended up crying. I was like, I can't have you in my life. I said, what you did to me, it messed me up. It ruined me. I said, how can you do that to someone? I have my son in my arms. I can never imagine doing something like that to him. How could you do that to me? And he said, I thought that's what you wanted me to do to you. I thought that's what you wanted. I swear to God, that's what he said. And at that point, I realized how sick he was. I realized he must have been fucked with as a kid, pardon my language, and that I can't fix him, which I never tried to, but at that point, I realized this was really toxic. I never talked to him. I didn't talk to him for 7 years. 7 years until my cousin moved down here. And she knew what happened. He did the same thing to her when she was little. But when she moved down here, and she's older than me, she's in her late 30s, she chose to live with him. And so she wanted me to come pick her up to see her. And I'm sitting here like, oh my God, okay, you need to deal with this, Cassie. You need to deal with this. You need to deal with this. And she had been saying, you need to deal with this. You need to say something to him that you forgive him. So if something happens to him because he's really sick, you're not going to feel guilty. So I went to pick her up, and the first time I saw him, I think that's when the shadow work started for me, when I started dealing with it, because I had just shoved it down for those 7 years. I ignored it. Even though I worked on it a little bit in prison, once I got out, I just locked the key, threw it away. That's it. And I saw him. He was skinny. He's got something wrong with his lungs, so he looked sick. And I gave him a hug, and I said, I forgive you. I said, you can never be around my kids. I will never come around you like that, but I want you to know that I forgive you. And he said, thank you. I love you, and I'm sorry. So, and then I would just pick up my cousin, drop her off. I wouldn't go get out and talk to him. And when that happened is when I started getting into my path. I think, the powers that be put my path in front of me at that time because I needed my path while I was dealing with it. I didn't realize I was doing shadow work. I didn't realize I was writing in journals, talking about how I felt, because I would just cry. My husband's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I don't know. Like, it's so sad. Like, he's going to die." I was like, I feel guilty, but then I feel bad he's dying. And I want to say one thing. If you feel that way about someone who's done that to you, especially as a parent, it's not wrong to feel sad that they're dying, even though they don't have done horrible things to you. They are still your parent. They gave you life. Now, does that mean you have a relationship with them? Absolutely not. But your feelings are never wrong. It's what you're supposed to feel. And that's what shadow work is you to deal with it, get it out, and improve yourself and learn from the situation and stop the cycle. I don't abuse my kids. I don't sexually molest my kids. I don't do any of that. So I have stopped the cycle with me. And that is what that is about. So the whole year I've been going down my path dealing with it, praying over it, lighting candles and writing journal. And it has helped a lot. My path has helped a lot. And, that's the biggest thing that turned me away from Christianity is if there's a God and Jesus loves little children, why didn't he protect me? Why didn't he stop it? I know everyone's going to be like, it was meant to happen. You're supposed to learn from it. Maybe, but it doesn't change how I feel about it. I don't hate Christianity. I was raised Christian, So I don't understand it. And my path now, I understand it better. You know what I mean? The way Christians talk about it like it was just meant to be, like you just have to take it and just pray about it. No, if someone ever do something like that to me again, I'm gonna do it right back. I have the tools and the means necessary. And also, I'm sorry, my voice is horrible. I'll stop in a minute. Mind you, while he was molesting me, I'm starting looking over here because I'm looking at my face. I'm trying not to get emotional on this. My dad had told us growing up he was a warlock. Now, before I started this path, I thought that meant black magic, dark magic, evil. I don't think any magic is bad. I just think the person makes it that way if they become evil. I don't even know if there's evil exists. I'm still exploring that, so I don't want to say that. But he would call himself a warlock. He would read people tarot's cards with playing cards. And he could tell if someone's pregnant. I remember him sitting there when people come around pregnant, he'd put his hand on their belly. He'd tell them what they were having, and it'd be true. Like, no shit. Like, I remember that. And so he would tell me when he was in prison, because my dad went to prison before I was born, years before I was born, running cocaine, I guess, for the mafia. No one can kill me for saying that. Like, I don't know. And supposedly, anytime he's in prison, I came to him in a dream. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, light-eyed. That's what I have. And my name was Cassandra Suzanne. That's where he got my name. And then we were supposed to have a battle with another evil sorcerer, he said, where I was supposed to be his battery source, his energy source, in this big battle with this person, whatever it is. And I was supposed to be 16 or 17 when this happened. Now, I was someone who's sitting here, supposed to be my father, molesting me, telling me this. And granted, I grew up with somewhat of magic, knowing about it. And so it scared the shit out of me. And I locked that magic door. I was like, I'm not doing that. No. I bolted it shut. That shit was not going to happen. I was not going to be in no big battle. Are you crazy? I got enough shit to deal with. And so that's why I think it's been so hard for me to work through anything until I saw him. And it triggered it, and I've had to do the shadow work. I've had to work through it. I've had to talk to my husband about it, detailed stuff. Because if you don't get down to the nitty gritty, just write down what happened to you and burn it. I did that so many times, and it released it for me. It helped me so much. So I just did this video response to Ravenflower. I'm there with you, girl. You're not alone. If you ever need someone to talk to, I know you probably have plenty around you to talk to. Just know that I understand. And anyone out there who's going through what I went through, If you need someone to talk to, you can't tell no one else, please message me and I will be happy to talk to you. Just know you will get better. Just put in the work, put in the shadow work through it. You have to break down all those walls to get some new bricks and to build that wall back up again. And I'm not talking about a wall to keep everyone out. I'm talking about a wall for your self-esteem, for your life, to build your life back up to life you want it to be. Because before I started dealing with my dad was last year doing shadow work, our finances were stuck. We weren't getting nowhere else. I was a stay-at-home mom at the time, so I was just frustrated. I mean, there was so much. But when I was forced to work on it, it opened up so many doors. And I think because I got rid of all that, I didn't get rid of that baggage, but I dealt with it. And I found out the tools to deal with it in the right way for whenever it does come back up, that I can deal with it and it not block my path, my spiritual path. I'm able to stay on my path. And the deities that are with me, they are here to help me get through this. And when Raven Flower talked about that ick on you, that stick on you, that was on me for so long. It fed off those drugs. And I'm not an angry person, and I never got angry. I used sex and I used drugs. Now, not so much as sex. If I was with someone, it was sex, but I wasn't promiscuous in that way. But the drugs, I would use so many drugs, and it leached off me. And even when I thought I dealt with it in prison, not married, it was still there. It was still there, until I saw him and I told him I forgave him. I think it was like it got off of me, but it was still there. And then I worked through it. It just got weaker and weaker. And like she said, it'll keep coming back. It'll try to keep coming back. You just use the tools that you learned in your shadow work, whatever that may be. Candle work, writing it down, burning it, meditation, crying it out. It's okay to cry. Like before I did this video, I did my hair and makeup because I needed that confidence. I needed that shield for me, to talk about it, to give me the confidence I needed. So I hope this video has helped. I hope it made sense. I'm sick and I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend nobody in this. This is just what happened to me in my life. Just a really short version of it. It's 25 minutes. I'm so sorry. And if anyone has any comments, need to talk to me, please, down in the comment section. Feel free to contact me. And just know I'll be lighting candles for y'all tonight. Keep y'all in my prayers. And until next time, I love you guys and many blessings.